Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing wills and estates, specifically for those living in Thailand. I get questions rather frequently from viewers of these videos, as well as from folks that just contact us here at the firm, regarding whether or not they should have a will, if so, how should it be drafted, etc. I'm not going to get into the details of drafting because generally speaking, or specifically speaking, that's going to come down to the specific circumstances of a given client's case. But let it be said that when drafting a will, you have to be sure to sort of think ahead with respect to what you want done with not only your assets, for example, but also perhaps for things like disposition of remains, etc. I was recently at the U.S. Embassy American Citizen Services section here in Bangkok, and I found this pamphlet, Why You Should Have a Thai Will, or why you should have a will. And again, U.S. Embassy in Bangkok, we'll go ahead and put this up here so you can see that. But to quote directly, why you should have a will: You're retired and content, living alongside tens of thousands of U.S. citizens who call Thailand home. Have you given thought to the last piece of the puzzle, having your final wishes carried out? Now, I'm going to go ahead and paraphrase some of this. Well, I shouldn't say paraphrase. I'm going to go ahead and quote further from a subsequent section. If you die without a primary next of kin, there can be long delays in the settlement of your estate. Worse still, your intended beneficiaries may find they have no recourse if Thai or U.S. law points to a different next of kin and you have not indicated your wishes in a will. And remember, a Thai partner in a quote-unquote common law marriage with a U.S. citizen is not recognized by the United States as next of kin unless he or she is specified in the will. One thing I would like to maybe point out as far as a correction goes, and this isn't really me trying to be nitpickety with the folks that wrote this pamphlet, but the term common law marriage is a term of art. There may be circumstances, in fact, much of the case law with respect to common law marriage in those jurisdictions in the United States that have common law marriage, a lot of the jurisprudence pertains to wills, where you've got people that did not effectuate what would be considered, a fully formalized marriage, but they were in a common law jurisdiction, and ultimately a court adjudicated that, yes, in fact, they were married, and so therefore the spouse was considered a next of kin, or at least a surviving intestate beneficiary subsequent to a person's death. That being said, back on point, the general theme of the quote I just went through is a good one, and it's relevant. If you are not in a registered marriage here in the kingdom, then a Thai will is going to be exceptionally necessary if you want to go ahead and make sure that beneficiary receives proceeds from your estate. Moreover, if there are friends, specific bequests, there are many things in a will. Oftentimes we'll see where individuals may not have something of particular monetary importance, but they just want to make sure that a next of kin receives a specific item, etc. Under those circumstances, it's a really good idea to have a will. Now, that being said, there are other provisions in a will, for example, things like dealing with one's remains. We've done another video on this channel that specifically deals with things like bequest of one's remains, instructions for how to deal with one's remains. That's not really relevant to this video specifically because most people, when they think of a will, they think of basically their material possessions being passed on to a next of kin. So this is quite an interesting little pamphlet here. But the thing that is the thing that should be taken away from this video is if you're living in Thailand, whether you have a spouse or not, if you have assets that you want to be sure are going to be bequeathed to someone of your choosing, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and get a will properly formalized and dealt with pursuant to Thai law and U.S. law, and go ahead and have that on file just in case something should befall you so that your wishes are met subsequent to your passing.